So we're in day 2 of the conference, and it's a tremendous conversation we're having. I think it's a very unique opportunity, really. We had a leading prosecutor from the U.S. talk about enforcement trends. She started her remarks by saying, "This is real," and proceeded to detail their enforcement agenda in a way that I think really was constructive and really focused on how companies can engage with the enforcement community to make sure that compliance is the end goal. We've also heard from national associations about their priorities, about enforcing their code, the compliance challenges they face. So I really think it's a fantastic environment for companies to come together and learn from each other and talk about compliance.
I talked about building a community, and I think what this meeting about for me embodies that, because we have a world which has a meshwork of different business practices, different cultures, different social norms, and different legal frameworks. And what we're trying to do is navigate our way through that to produce something or the nearest we can get to a level playing field in which this business can operate and operate in a clean sense.
This is the 3rd year of our international compliance conference that we've partnered with UCOMED and the other national associations, and it's really a terrific opportunity for our companies to talk about compliance challenges, discuss best practices, and really work and learn from each other in this emerging area, as well as hear from other stakeholders, whether it's healthcare professionals, prosecutors, and others who are interested in these issues.
I think that it is great that once a year we come all together and we exchange experience. It's very important. From what I've seen for the past 3 years at least, I've seen that we are all converging. So that is a great signal. I think what is important, at least the way I see it, is that we need to think globally, but we still need to act locally.
The quality of the program is definitely evolving. From the very start, I would say it was a very solid, well thought out series of topics. We have a solid attendance from all the people that in my view should be here, compliance officers and legal counsels that serve these institutions outside and in-house counsels. But I have noticed increasingly the attendance of high-level executives and also government officials. And that is critical for the success of this conference.
I want to emphasize AdvaMed's long-standing commitment to compliance. It's something that I take very seriously, our board of directors takes very seriously, and that we've been engaged in for a very long time, dating back to 1991 when we endorsed our first AdvaMed Code of Ethics.
I think the value for me is gaining that perspective outside the United States. You know, for those of us who try to operate globally but have an office in the U.S., it's difficult sometimes to really appreciate the conditions of markets and the different cultural perspectives from around the world. This meeting really provides you with a great opportunity to sit shoulder to shoulder with counterparts, company executives, even CEOs that are here, pick their brains and try to condition what you're doing to make it appropriate for an OUS market.
This is all related to healthcare professional collaborations and payments or transfers of values that may be made to the healthcare professional. So companies are going to be challenged to track and audit that information and making sure their disclosures required ethically or legally are meaningful.
I believe AdvaMed has assembled here the right crowd of people, because the people who are in the room today are individuals who face day-to-day the challenges of implementing compliance programs in their companies. It's very important that they share and exchange ideas all together, that they realize they're not alone in facing the challenges that they face every day implementing compliance programs in their companies.
So 2 years ago we made the Code of Business Practice and ABHI mandatory. At that time, probably 5% of our resource and time was taken up on compliance issues. Today, that's probably at least a fifth, and that will grow to be about a third, I guess, by 2013, 2015. The big issues for us coming up are the bribery bill coming into law sometime in the second half of this year, which is good news because it underpins what we're doing in terms of self-regulation as an industry. And of course, it widens the impact right across British business.
As a CEO, I drive compliance throughout the organization, first by top-down examples. I'm the first one to speak about compliance. I want people to talk to me about compliance, the challenges they face, the issues they have. Second thing, we use a lot of creativity in our way to communicate the message across the company. One example is, for instance, this identity card that all the employees of Sorin have in their pocket that reminds them the phone numbers they can use in case they have a challenge or an issue on a compliance matter.
The biggest challenge in compliance is transparency and making all people participating in the same way. Because it's obvious that if some companies are behaving fully in agreement and others not, this creates a lot of problems and tensions.
There have been so many good topics at this conference. I think the key takeaways for my topic were about preparing for the inevitable. We think that the trends are going to be toward more disclosure, and in my session we really talked about the importance of making public the awareness of relationships between industry and companies, and primarily valuing, sometimes celebrating those relationships.
We're entering a new environment, not only in medical technology, but broadly speaking with regard to government policy. Transparency is the new buzzword. There's lots of focus, not just, again, in the healthcare sector, but all sectors of the economy. And transparency, in our view, is absolutely vital with regard to patient care.
2011 sees the 4th Annual International Device Compliance Conference from AdvaMed coming to London, and we certainly as an association are going to reach out to AdvaMed and welcome them, and we'll work very hard with UK stakeholders to make sure that they have a strong presence and they embrace the subject matter and the importance.
That is again why your efforts to acknowledge concerns about compliance issues in this industry and rise to address them globally are particularly impressive. I have to say thank you again for your attention auf Aufmerksamkeit. It's an honor, a true honor to be here. So I wish you viel Spaß for your last day. I hope you raise some hell in Berlin tonight, but behave yourselves. Our people are keeping an eye on you. Thank you again.